Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. You're here with Sam Price, the crypto lifer, baby. Thousands of days with no days off. We could do this. They can't stop your dream. They can't stop your hustle. They can't stop your energy. You've got this. Nobody's gonna get in your way, baby. This is the Crypto Lover Show. Let's go. They're trying every day to stop you. Someone's always telling you that you're not good enough. They're hating on you. They're saying that you suck. They're calling you a scammer. They say you ain't the real deal. They say you're a grifter. They talk on your name. They talk behind your back. They run in the comments. But they can't be as consistent as the lifers. Let it rip, baby, let it rip.
Energy's right, 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 energies right. Right, 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 energy, energy. The energy's right, 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 if the energy's right, if the energy's right,
Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. First thing I want to do is something you've never seen before, okay? I want to do something for you that you've never seen before. I want to take my glasses off, right? But still have a pair of glasses on. I know you've never seen that. You've never seen that before. All right, bring it up. All right. Let's break it down. Let's talk about it. Let's see what's happening. Bitcoin, 69,800. I told my students I was in a long, but I said I'm out. And probably should have started the short on the 4-hour time frame. It looks like we may be making that right shoulder that I was freaking out about this whole time the last few days. This could be the bigger dump, man. And I've been in the middle on what could happen here because we're kind of stuck on geopolitical unrest. So this is the long I wanted, the 21. We started the slop. I had it even kind of tighter the second we just left this area. And I was still up on one of my trades, down a little bit on the other, kind of break even. I said, I'm out. And I didn't lose. I was up almost probably $1,000 in the morning as everything started. And I was looking for a bigger breakout. I had gotten in about last night, somewhere in this lower area here. It was down, I think, about 400. I went to sleep. When I woke up, I was up about 678 on that one trade. And then I had 2 other trades open, one on XC and 2 on weeks. And then I cut them off. I said to my students, I'm out on the longs here. And I said, I need to see a bounce first. I said, I'm keeping my money safe and tight. Use it when I see it, only using it when I see high probability. Keeping the losses small, do not compare to the gains. And so I'm just showing you, fine, only 14, I didn't like the trade, moved it to break even, got hit. Took a fat win, took a small scalp. I didn't like the way, same thing here. You can see I'm trading what I call very light. And here's today, I was up huge. I think I was up 678. Or maybe this one was up 678. But I had 2 trades open and I lost $121. I trade pretty heavy. And it went my way. I would have made 3. If this breaks out, even just to here, all I need is this. The way I trade, if this kind of just goes to here, I'm going to be up 2 to 3 grand. And I'm going to get out. If it continues, I could make 10, 20 grand. But it doesn't, I don't care. You know what I mean? I'm going for 1 to 3 grand a day is the key. And so, again, and once that lost that key level, and bang, look, back to the 200 moving average. So I didn't like what I was seeing here for Bitcoin. And again, everyone wants to show you their big wins. I like to show you my small losses. I think a small loss is better than a big win when you're a beginner. If you can start conquering small losses, you can lead yourself to big wins. But if you just keep running after big wins, eventually there's a big loss. You see what I mean? I don't know. And you're going to do what you continue to do. If you continue to do high leverage with no stop loss, and you hit, and then one day you're going to revenge trade it twice, and all it takes is maybe 3 trades to kill a month's long worth of your wins. So bad behavior can be rewarded for 3 months, sometimes for 4 months, sometimes even for a year. But once bad behavior twists, it turns ugly, and it's really crazy. So anyway, I've learned the hard way, so now I just trade kind of the same, And even I see traders that do well, and I'm always like, man, they're doing great, but they're doing great with very high risk. And at one point, when does that risk flip? And do you have complete control? Some people do. I see a select few traders do, but many people don't. And they get themselves caught up in some hardware, So anyway, definitely a stop hunt too. You could sniff it. Made it look so sweet and beautiful. And we've been seeing this a lot. Now, this isn't the end of the rally. There's a couple ideas here. There's a chance that we could just be making a very long consolidation that's just kind of drawn out here and looks more somewhat like a shoulder, head, right shoulder. But there's no true guarantees for that as well. But I'm just, I'm giving you some open-minded sauce that you may not have seen anywhere else on any other channel, right? But the bounce off the 200 moving average, I have seen to be a pretty good place. You've seen me take it a few times on the live. Right there, that 200 bounce was epic. Right there was a 200 bounce that ended up becoming the key to the trade. It actually did it, look, once. See how it wicks right to the 200 on the 15. See how it hits the 200 right there on the 15. And see how it hits the 200, basically the wick right there too. So you can see how, many times there it almost gets it. And again, this is why we do what we do, right? The 21 above the 200. You get yourself a little pump. And you don't need much. If I can get 7,550 to 70,892, I can get myself, on a $200 move, I have made $2 grand before. But again, that is very high risk. The setup was clean. This morning, the setup looked really nice. Everything, even last night, even right here. But again, the trade technically, right here to right there is a beautiful trade. That's a nice scalpelino right there. And then things got a little sketchy. We kind of it has some cat ear vibes. It does look like cat ears that could go further to the downside. Cat ears basically takes you through the gap in the VRVP right back to this liquidity bar at about 68,650. So I want to see what's happening here on the weekly and whittle our way down, even on the monthly. And I'm going to do our top 10 analysis like we do every single day. Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Appreciate each and every one of you for being here, sharing your most precious asset with me, and that is your time. Thank you, dear Lord, for all the beautiful souls you have here on the live. Thank you for my ability to be live every single day. Thank you for my health, the health of my family, the health of my children, and the health of all my subscribers and the people around the world. May we push positive energy. We may all right now meditate on a big light, traveling from our inner hearts out into our minds, out into the world, surrounding the globe inside a giant light. May we continue to push that frequency. May we continue to live in high frequency no matter where the world's going and what people are doing. I'm not going to be on Twitter talking hate. I'm not going to be in conversations that drag me down. I'm going to be in nature. I'm going to be with my kids. I'm going to be supporting my wife. I'm going to be doing all the things that make my life great, and I'm going to be connecting to God and meditating. And if I could do those three and with you guys today and connecting with my YouTube channel and my people, you get those four things done if you're a family man like me, and I think you're batting 1,000, as my dad used to say. So shout out to everybody here. Thank you for jumping on in. Shout out to Jimmy Price, my father. Rest in peace. My mom, Irene, rest in peace. I love both my parents. I miss them dearly. They were amazing people, amazing souls. I'm not going to cry right now, but I just want to always respect them, for I am their son, and you wouldn't see this stream without them, right? So they created this that you see now. You know, without them, there would be no stream. So God bless my parents and their beautiful union. May they continue to live in love in heaven and with God. And when I see them again, man, amen. So, and look at that. We did that without a tear. Huh? Some days you can do it. Some days you can talk about them and it's simple. And some days just a simple thought will send you crashing. Grief has a way of coming in waves, folks. And it'll hit you hard some days in ways you're not waiting for. I know many of you know this probably better than me. I'm just learning some of these pains as, losing my parents was probably the biggest hit of my life. So look, I mean, right there, the 786 Fibonacci retracement from this wick to that wick, that's a beautiful place to begin a possible reversal here for Bitcoin. The fear and greed index was all the way at a 5. Whenever I've seen it at a 5, that's been a very low barrier for, to be, that's like a good place. It's low risk to me. When I see that key level, does it mean it's going to happen for sure? Is it a guarantee? No. Definitely not. But, oh yeah, I forgot. I was playing with my kids last night. I had moved the camera slightly. There we go. Back to right. There we are. Buddy, these suit jackets make me look ginormous. Like, this guy's got to be 6'7", 380 pounds. Beautiful jacket. Shout out to Wardrobe. Thank you so much. Excellent pick today. With the, what is it? I don't even know. Well, Ralph Lauren. Whoa. You guys got me looking nice. Hey. But shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Shout out to everyone here on the live stream. We appreciate you. So the monthly candle, if that can close green, we could get a break to the upside. This could look like one of these things. And I've seen this before. It's called a half a cup of handle. And I actually could go find references of it. And what you're also doing is you're kind of retesting the previous cycle high, right? Okay. There's my half a cup of handle. See, and I also call it an ascending cup and handle. I've seen this play out. Thing is, after this bigger move, it can still crash to the Fibonacci from here. We push through it every single time. 618 to 60,000. All right. And remember, too, man, people will fly higher than you. They'll get more views than you, make more money than you. But then they do something horrible that could also, you know what I mean? So just maintain, be with God, stay humble. I have to tell myself this all the time, and like, you don't want to get big. I want to get more famous. I want to get big, How come I'm not as big on social media as I should? I live stream every day, all this. You get in your head. I'm just telling you what happens if you want to jump on into social media and you get kind of caught up with the view, and you got to tell yourself, you know what? Right? Exactly. Absentia. You look just like the star at Absentia. I don't know what that is, though. God bless you, man. Thank you. I'll have to see what that is. 144,606. So this is your most bullish scenario as far as I'm concerned. Here's your bearish scenario. You come up, you make some type of right shoulder here, folks. I know, right? This would be a... I mean, it could be... I mean, unrealistic because that... Yeah, it's crazy, though. A head and shoulder pattern, if it did make one, and we had some type of neckline like this, and we just, we made some, who knows? It could even be shallower. It could have been more, like that. We don't, but whatever. I mean, isn't that crazy? A $30,000 BTC. This is your worst. So your best case scenario is Bitcoin's at 144,000 by May 1st of 2027, in a year from now. For me, seriously, unless you think like there's going to be we're going to go in a straight line, which I've never seen. The straightest Bitcoin ever went was this. So take this fractal for yourself and give, you know what I mean? This is like the hardest Bitcoin ever went. And this is when like Larry Fink said he was going to unload. And we still have to go. That chop was crazy. This wasn't easy to live through. It looks so simple on the charts, but man. So even if Bitcoin did the best it ever did, 115,000 by October, you see what I'm saying? People have to put this stuff into perspective. They read articles like 50,000, but you know what I mean? Like Tom Lee, remember when he was saying 150K? I believe it can double by the end of January. Do you remember that? Like he didn't give up on it. Like, don't worry. God bless him, man. He's going to make his millions, I believe, if he keeps buying ETH and it goes where it's, over time. I'm not hating. I actually think the guy's hilarious. Like, I loved it, man. I'm a Bitcoin bull. Like, pour on the ridiculous Bitcoin bull. You know what I mean? I mean, better than nothing, I guess. But realistically, I'm not a fan. But I'm not going to hate on any type of bullish positive news in a way. But, so he's saying it's going to explode. Remember that? That was just nuts to me. And then at one point, once we crashed and things were kind of like down and we went down to like 90K or something. I think it was 80. We were like 84. I figured he would kind of, and then like he's like, oh, I could see us doubling by the end of January or something. I was just like, what the? Like he didn't back down like 150K by, and I was like, just enough people believe it, you know what I mean? Buy into the ETF to buy, 2-week chart looks okay, but to me, I mean, it just could be tested the waters for for another dumpy. It's really got to break this trend line. This trend line is a bit important here. You got to crack through it. I think I give a little more room to break up again. This closes in 5 days and 10 hours. We finally got a green candle on the 2-week. It had been 6 weeks, right? And you got to just assume right now that every time we go sideways, we're just making a bear flag to get ready for a bigger low. You got to assume that, which is, not the best. But this is the key right here, right? So that's really what it comes down to. Assume this bear flag is going to go lower, man, unless we can break back above. Like it's really like on the 2-week, you got to get back above 86, 84. You got to get like whatever the resistance is that you got. We're above this. This is great. I'll take it, but we got to stay above that. If you bring it down a little bit, it's like about what? You even bring it to this top candle and you see where it closed. It's 69,860, is it? Funny, the line's on it when I put it on there. So it manipulates the number, right? But yeah, 69,860, right? So, yeah, I mean, it doesn't. So do you long the bottom? Some people have longed and they're already in down here and they're still in the long. Some people probably with high leverage are down here with huge liquidation levels. Right? And they may end up winning winning the biggest trade. I took this trade, but I sold it. And I took this pump too and I sold it. I sold all these. We sold this. We took these trades, but we sold it. There was actually a lot of, the craziness is I've made a lot of bullish trades in the last, 2, 4, 6 weeks. Like, we've made some crazy calls, and we've done well. Even this week, like we started Sunday night with the long, and we woke up Monday morning up, right? I was, and I switched long at 11 o'clock at night, but we hit, and then last night I called a long. I woke up in the morning in the gain, So, and it's about defending positions, not being greedy. Like I woke up this morning right there, up 750. We got in at 7, and you can see just a $400 move gave me $600. I want to match my trades. If you make about 100, I've learned if you make your position the size of Bitcoin, right? If Bitcoin's 69, you make, so if you trade above whatever the price of Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's 65,000 and I open up a $100,000 position, right? I can make $1,000 if Bitcoin goes up $1,000. And Bitcoin's been volatile lately. It goes up between $500 and $2,000 almost every single day, short or long. So just by using not too much and getting the position size to near 100 grand, I can be able, basically you make whatever Bitcoin makes that day. Or, and then when it's really nice, I up the ante. And, I can make $2,000 on it. Like the other day, I made $2,000 on like $300 move for Bitcoin. But it was, it was exactly, I only do it when it fits, when it's exactly what I like. I'm a lot pickier than the other traders. I may not make as much, I may not be as crazy, but I'm just, I know in my heart, I'm an old school dude. As long as I win and don't lose, I'm fine. I don't need to compete with anyone. I don't need to show everyone how much money I make. You know what I mean? I just need to show people that my strategies work. So if you learn from me, you'll be able to learn something that's amazing and then be able to apply it to your life. That's all I want you to know from this channel. My money is my money. Your money is your money, right? It doesn't like if you hit tons of gains and you're 10 for 10, I'm super happy for you, but it doesn't pay my bills. And if I go, if I hit 18 out of 20 trades and I show you 40 racks, like, it's great. I want you to know that I'm not a loser. I'm just, but it doesn't pay your bills, right? What pays your bills is being like, okay, how did he get in and out? How did he use the 21 to enter the trade today? Did he scalp, and how did he scalp, right? So let's take a look at price. We're getting a bounce back to 70,000 for Bitcoin here. Okay. And we're trading live on weeks for the moment. Right now, attempting to hold price here, not looking amazing. What you want to start looking at, too, is look at the 30-minute bouncing off the 200 moving average. Unreal. And like I showed you, this could end up becoming some type of wacky price action. Then I look at my 1 minute, and I see we're kind of making, What I specialize in is finding the daily bottom. Okay, so if you come to this channel somewhere between 10 and 12, I'd say about 80% of the time we find that's when the daily bottom occurs for whatever reason. Yeah. Exactly. So we'll see. I like this. That's a bull div right there. Could we get the resistance right here at what? 70,364? You're looking for some type of inverted headed shoulder and a break back to the upside. Patterns create the move. That's it. You know what I mean? Either that or, you'll see. You'll either continue in some type of descending triangle and this thing will continue to dump. It's pretty simple. Like, you give it the ultimatum, like either make some type of bullish move or continue lower. And the smaller time frames will kind of bend to your will if you know what to look for. And so this is kind of what I do as I project. It's called quantum projection theory. You give it two ideas and you say, hey, take one of them. If you take the bullish one, I'll trade you bullish. If you take the bearish one, I'll trade you bearish. It's Bruce Lee, like Wata. Wata feel cut, you know what I mean? Be like Wata. It takes shape of anything, right? It's ready to take, like right now, I take shape of anything, just like Bruce Lee said. So like right now I take shape into the short, or I take shape into the long. This likes to continue lower. It looks like we're in for a possible short scalp, right? Starts to flip back and, I'm ready for a long scalp. I could have both of them positioned. And kind of generally how, this would have to make a right shoulder. Then we would use the right shoulder as some type of protection. $70,000. And that's a key psychological area where people are really cutting in. Hey, $70K. I missed 50,000. I was told 50K, 60K bounced. We just went to 75. I didn't FOMO in. Now we're back to 70. Maybe I should buy more here. There's a lot of people spot on the side that didn't get in. You have to keep reminding yourself that about Bitcoin. Whenever you kind of cancel Bitcoin out and think it's over, you have to remember how many people were waiting for lower prices and didn't get them. And they're the emotional buyers of spot on the sidelines. And then you got institutions, you got businesses, you got people. Sailor buying more Bitcoin yesterday. The man is out of control. He's out of control. Every day he buys more than me and you. And he already has more than me and you. And every day every day you question Bitcoin. Hunting bears. Look at this. Bear hunting. So funny, man. Apex just added 112 years of strategy. So another thing, people like that buy strategy instead of Bitcoin. Whatever, it doesn't matter. You get the yield. He creates the motion. 11%. And then he divvies it back. I mean, it's a great, hey, there's a way to cash flow your Bitcoin, man. Without self-custodying right there on the open market. I mean, its strategy has acquired 1,031 BTC for $70.6 million. At $74,326 per coin as of 3/22. They hold 760,039 acquired for $57.69 billion. It's cheap if you think about it. They only had to spend $57 billion. My mind goes, dang. They only had to spend $57 billion to own 3% of the world's supply. Like, that's crazy, right? If Bitcoin ever becomes the world's supply, they spent so little to become placed so high in the food chain. If Bitcoin becomes an experiment and dies, who cares? It's 57 million that may or may not would have been. And so I look at it on the really global picture, like 100 years from now, I'm looking back and reading a book on this area. And people are gonna look at this call way differently than they are now. If you can expand your mind and kind of see things, the mind can expand forward and, you live in the present, but you could sit and meditate. And you can bring your mind forward into the future or backwards into the past, and you can kind of stretch your mind. Because time and space, right? Time doesn't exist, right? Everything happens all at once. You know what I'm saying. I know you know what I mean. Even if you don't, you'll find out it to be true. So the idea is this. You can kind of go anywhere in your mind, right? And so when you look back on the bigger picture here, I look at this as probably the least inexpensive way to possibly own, quote unquote, own the world. You know what I mean? But like, it's mind-boggling to me. Only 57 billion. It just seems like it's such a small number to me at the moment. For one of the first times in my life when I just think about it. I'm just zooming out and seeing things from years from now. I'm like, wow, man. Dude will be remembered. Like, they'll read about him in a book, man. Crazy, right? See if Bitcoin can get the recovery here on the smaller time frames, or does it go continuing to the dumpski? The 4-hour doesn't look good to me. We're going to get into what the 4-hour looks like and show you what's happening. We're going to get back into this 1 minute. We might even make a live trade, so stay tuned. All right? We're never done, baby. Never think this show is going to go the way you thought it. Anything could happen. Anything could change. Let's take a look at the 5-day chart. 5-day chart looking nice. Just not looking nice, but looking like it could respect this bottom trend line at least, right? Again, still a bear flag, but you never know. I've been listening to too much college basketball with Dick Vitale, right? And he's got me going with the radio voice, man. I said that, I probably got his name wrong, right? Biggest log in human history is pretty wild. It really is. Yesterday was my best day. Thanks, Sammy, for the 100 and the premium. God bless you, man. That's amazing, dude. Nasty market. Shout out to Grandmaster Fred. Oh, my gosh. I mean, they're run by complete every single time someone says something. And, you know, we're walking on eggshells. I mean, it's, that's why you just got to have a plan and stick to it on small time frames. Look at this big gap here, though. Could be an upside down Bart Simpson. I never thought about this before. It kind of looks like a Bart Simpson, doesn't it? A reverse Bart. It does, look at that, man. We get the reverse Bart. Imagine the smash up there. We're back at 89,000. The Bears are going to be like, what the Bears? Who knows what's going to happen, but dang. We'll see. I never thought about it. I just never saw it that way. First time I saw it as a possible Bart Simpson. But this, you could have said the same thing about this one. And It even started to look like an inverted head and shoulder. It played games and then it rolled over. But, we saw the head and shoulder right there. It gave you the outski. Anyway, TA is so beautiful, it doesn't lie. It'll present itself. You just got to watch it every day. That's what So look at the daily. This is what we were talking about yesterday, and I just wasn't really a fan of. We started with a bearish move last night and the update. It was crazy that I still went long last night. I could see, and as I went to bed, it still looked a little sketchy. When I woke up and saw it pumping and saw that I was in the green, I was like, okay, let's go. Jumped out of bed like, all right, let's do this, right? All right. Let me get rid of the moving averages and really dissect this daily here. I use years of my, just using my subconscious mind and looking at price action and see if it can kind of give me something that I normally wouldn't think about or see, right? You could say kind of fake out, break back inside, fake out, break back inside. Like this is your like hopium copium TA, you know what I mean? And you're cutting off these levels. Remember, we had this beautiful symmetrical triangle that we got into. I mean, that was awesome. And we did sell the top. I told you I didn't like it. We were too far from the 21-day moving average. The daily did come back to the 21, lost it, got into it. You'd like to see us get tight here again and break on out, like get this rounded bottom. The one thing you have to say is bing, low, higher high, bing, higher low, higher high, bing, higher low. We got to put in a higher high. Bitcoin's got to break back above 74,800 to be taken seriously by the bulls. That level could get a retest, and that really would be the key sauce to get a move possibly to 91,000. You see, you could get it. And then you go to what? The daily 200 moving average. When these get tight and bunch up, you could, but we got tight here and we rolled over. So what are you saying, Sam? Well, right now, I assume because of the bigger time frames are still looking like they're in a downtrend, we're talking the 3-day, the weekly, that we're going to end up going lower. So right now, I assume we're going to dump. I'm not in a short because I kind of intraday trade at this point and stack Bitcoin. That way I don't get caught up in, if I open up too many big longs or shorts in the, going for a 3-day swing and in the middle of the night, something changes in the war, like I don't want to lose, So I'm doing very defensive trading right now until we get more clarity in Iran, It just is what it is. It changed, it changed my trading style. I've been trading for too long and I have too much to lose. I'll trade too big and too hard, and then if the market flips, it's not worth it. So I want to go hard when the market's right. When the market ain't right, I want to pick and choose and cherry pick my calls, and be very selective of how I trade. It may look boring in the trading group a little bit. I may be less, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to preserve my capital in low probability, and I'm going to be able to deploy capital in high probability. All right. You kind of have a parallel channel here too as well. Let's take a look at the fixed range. I have the bigger one, but we'll take a look at the fix here. All right, so interesting, right? You got your value area lows at 65.8. You got your value area highs somewhere at about 71.5. And you guess these are liquidation areas. To me, but again, and you can see it in the VRVP right here. You can see the chunk of liquidity. We're kind of range bound between 67.8 and 70,000. So it's telling you, like, once you break this level, a big move down to 62 or lower. Once you break this level, a big move up to at least 73 and then up to here to 78,000, and you can see it in the VRVP. You can see it in the resistance points. And, honestly, it looks almost like we might have 2 weeks of sideways price action here inside this tight channel. I didn't see it this way before. This is the first time I'm looking at this and the manner in which I'm seeing it. All right. What did I just use? I used the fixed range volume profile. I have it right here. This is the VRVP. A lot of people call it the VPVR. I think I'm the only one that calls it the VRVP, but it says visible range volume profile. So I call it the VRVP. When you put yours on your chart by hitting the indicators and typing VRVP, just to make sure you're on the same page with me. All right. Once that's on, you're going to go to your settings. You're going to hit here. You're going to turn the 0 on. You're going to flip 24 to 240. Yours is going to be defaulted to 24. Just add a 0. That's at inputs. Let me do it real slow for you. You're going to hit the gear. You're going to go to inputs. If it's not clicked on, you're going to click the inputs. It should be there. And then you're just going to hit this. When it blinks, you're going to hit a 0. Yours is going to look like this. You're going to tap 0. Yours is going to look like mine now. Yours might be different. They've changed the color to pink and stuff. It doesn't really matter. You just need to see the levels. Okay. All right, so this is looking somewhat bearish to me for Bitcoin. If this closes today, that's a lower high. And now you got higher lows and lower highs, and that's when things get sketchy. And technically, we'd have to say we're making a symmetrical triangle. You see this? So if today we close this candle red, you can see that we're making this something like this. You're going to have a top channel and a bottom channel, and you're going to get very tight inside that zone. This is your hopium that we're making something like this. An ascending triangle. But also, to me, that's a shoulder. That would be a head, and this would be a right shoulder, and we would dump. So the bigger time frames have to break out of higher levels for me to believe that we're going to rip. Bitcoin would have to break 72,750 now to even be considered bullish. Because look at this, you got to break above, and then you got to break above this. So both of those have to be broken. Those treetops there. Reminds me of that Method Man and Redman track here. So, wow. Looks like we're dumping harder now, right? Yeah, look at that. And so, look, we chose like the descending triangle, you see. And that short's in the money now if I had taken it, right? Looks like we want to go lower. All the way down somewhere to what? 68,900 for BTC, right? You would only have taken the long if you had made a right shoulder, you see? No reason to even consider it. You got rejected here and you fumbled the bag. You made the descending triangle. These do a straight dump like 90% of the time. They're like a shoo-in for lower lows. And now it's just more and more news piles out. Says, Iran said nothing of the sort. Right? Well, they bounce it right back to the upside. I'm not trading, as you can see. I'm not trusting the market right now. I'm not risking capital for iffy price action. Right? If you're already in some higher coordinated long on a bigger or shorter time frame, I played my cards last night for what I believe was going to happen. It didn't. I got out with very little loss. I'm really proud of like how I'm handling risk. So. And, part of me is like, has that ego that wants to show off and be like, and I like that I'm just being like, no, man, it's not about that, So here's the current situation in the war, as far as I can hear. Straight facts for the live viewers, okay? Fighting is still intense with no ceasefire. U.S. and Israel forces are hitting Iran missile drone production sites, nuclear-related facilities like Isfahan and other targets. Iran is firing waves of missiles and drones at Israel. 7+ waves in under 10 hours today. Hitting Tel Aviv hard. Major building damage. At least 4 to 6 injured recent. Dimona, Arad, and other areas. Iran has also struck Gulf targets in Bahrain and UAE, killing soldiers, contractors, and backed forces in Iran and Lebanon. This is Grok, okay? Just so you know. I'm getting this information from Grok, so I ask. So, you take it with a grain of salt, okay? All right. Trump says talks are going well. Iran says it's fake news. President Trump claims productive conversations with Iran. Major points of agreement that Iran wants peace. He backed off his threat to bomb the power plants and gave more time on reopening the Strait of Hormuz. Iran's military and officials call it fake and deny direct indirect talks and say their forces will fight until complete victory. They just appointed a new top security chief, IRGC veteran Mohammed Bagh Zohadar, right? Pakistan offered to host talks, and mediators like Oman, Egypt are involved, but no deal is close. Casualties and damage so far, 1,500 dead in Iran, including heavy hits on civilian areas, hospitals and schools, 1,000 in Lebanon, and 15 in Israel. Hundreds injured from missile strikes. 13 U.S. military deaths reported. Millions displaced. Red Crescent says U.S. Israeli strikes damaged thousands of civilian structures in Iran. Oil and economy taking hits. Brent crude jumped back over $100 a barrel today amid the uncertainty. Iran is restricting shipping in the Strait of Hormuz, calling economic terrorism by some Gulf states. Qatar declared force majeure on the LNG contracts after damage to facilities. This is already affecting global energy prices. Flashpoints. Israel's pounding southern Lebanon. Hezbollah areas planning a security zone up to the Litani River and hitting targets in Iraq. Lebanon just kicked out Iran's ambassador. EU leaders are calling for imminent negotiations to end. Bottom line, war is grinding on with missiles flying both ways and mixed signals on peace talks. Trump is optimistic, Iran is defiant, and oil prices are spiking. No signs of it ending. All right? Send your chat in. Tell me what you think is going to happen. How long will this conflict go on for? Let's start a poll. Will this go on all year? Yes or no? Sad to say. Will this go on all year? Like, until 2027. Right? Yes or no? What do you think? I just want to see what people think. Is this like the beginning of something bigger? I don't even like to think it. Will it end if we think that? Should we have to think differently, Look at this dumb peasy here for Bitcoin. And there it is. And you can almost see shoulder, head, right shoulder there. You can see it. I know it might be hard for you there, but shoulder, that's a head and shoulder pattern as well. Dumped it, pumped it back with a bearish retest of the lower level. So you bounce, you hit the previous support as resistance with the retest, right? I could see weakness earlier today, jumped out the long, right? Please hit the like button, everyone. I'll go until the end of the world, basically. I can't pick an answer for the poll. Forever is not there. Dang, right? It's like, all I want to do is live in peace. I want to go to the mountains and drink out of a freshwater spring. I want to see a deer, eat. You know what I mean? I want to be with my kids and see animals unexpectedly. And I want to die at a family reunion, with everyone around. I just like when I'm like, over 100 years old. It's like, why can't I just live a life, man? Look at this little bounce here for Bitcoin. Did we get some news out of nowhere? This is treachery here today. So now you kind of move, what I do here is you just keep moving. I'm not in a longer short right now. I'm not. And that could change at any moment. I might see something that gets me going here. Let's look for some bullish signs. The 4 hour is still above the 200 moving average. And honestly, this could just be a beautiful inverted head and shoulder for the 4 hours. Shoulder. Hey, look at this, right? And this might end up making such a nice ascending triangle for the move. And this could be the bigger picture play here that we're not seeing. You got supportive resistance here. So let's finish my top down. I didn't finish, right? So the daily. The daily looks like it could be in trouble right now. So we got to watch basically the 15 to the 4 hour. If they could give us bearish or bullish signs. Right now, look at the 4 hour. I got mixed signals, right? One, I've been watching this kind of shoulder, head, shoulder. Like this could be a head and shoulder pattern still that dumps. This major resistance area just keeps not being able to, we can't see, we have problems around here. A lot of 4 hour candles can't seem to get back, and it's a high volume node. It's about 71,005, 71,003. So 71,500 has been a profit-taking area that we've had issues with on the 4 hour time frame. You can clearly see. We broke out of this falling wedge. We got the reversal move back to the upside. Yeah. Anyone watching the manipulation in oil? Oil just dumped instantly, and Big One E reacted with the same candle. Yeah, I've been staying away from this stuff, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. Let's take a look at oil for a second here. And I was trading that Brent, no, I was trading that WT. I thought it said it's back over $100 a barrel. I don't see, or maybe it is. Yeah, oil looks like it's in a bear flag here on the 5-minute time frame. Looks like a nice little dump there for an oil short, right? I mean, you kind of have a head and shoulder. It's kind of Bitcoin upside down, right, in a way. But if I had to guess, I mean, that looks like oil's going to take a dump. So here's my, optimistic, bullish idea for the day. It is Tuesday. I usually we have some type of movement on Tuesday. One of my favorite days to live trade. Sad that I'm not in one just yet. So 69.8, previous support becomes resistance. You wait for the 4-hour to close a green candle next to a red one. You wait for the 1-hour to do the same. Be nice if we get a nice, slow consolidation. Up and down here, we get tight and we break out somewhere by Thursday, Friday. Let's look at the 15. The 15 is getting held by the 200 moving average. I think the 30-minute is doing the same, but it's very sketch. Ooh, looks like cat ear. See, it looks like a double top. You got liquidity down here too as well. I mean, you pull a fib, and you could come down to the 786, 618 is right there. That's that's 69,175. Let's take a look at BOOKMAP and see what it's saying here with liquidity. It's a bit, it says the lowest, it says it wants to go lower to 69K. And then it has this level that it hasn't given up on down there at 65,000. It's saying, hey, a lot of people thought they caught the low. We're going to liquidate them. And they're not, we're going to go down and get them at 64,000. So hopefully some of those people are moving their stop into profit, or they've already taken some and now they just got to stop down there. So, I like this 15-minute. You got to find some bull div. And you got some bull div here. I mean, that's somewhat strong. And possible reversal there now again. Can you get it right, Sammy? Could it? It's not horrible. So you took that quick dump. They ripped it back to the upside. Look at the volatility in just a 20-minute period. Price action dumps down to 69.4, rips all the way back to 70,000, rips right back down to 69.3 in 2 minutes, and then in 5 minutes is right back up to 70,000. Imagine the emotions of a trader that is sitting there pressing buttons. Oh my gosh, that would. And again, I'm not trying to be rude, but right now there's a beginner trader or even a trader that's been trading that has bad habits that just longed and shorted and shorted and longed, and they literally just lost a few $1,000s, made 5 or 6 trades, and chewed themselves up so bad. So bad. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. Remember, every time you're not even trading, you're doing better than 90% of traders because they're losing it. They're losing it all. So if you're just sitting and waiting for a better move, you're doing better than 90% of traders, specifically if you won your last few trades too. So if your last 10, 20 trades, you're up and you're doing well, you got a nice P&L, you're chilling. Don't force it because you saw Jimmy Bob over there hit, $7,000 in a day and be like, damn, I need to make that kind of money. You need to do nothing. God gave you everything. Just, in my humble opinion, it's one step at a time, one day at a time, one candle at a time. Look at me. I don't force myself to make big money every day. It'll come. There might be, remember, there's weekends I've made $60,000 in one weekend. That takes care of months of making $6,000 a month. You know what I mean? That's 10 weeks of $6,000 a week, My whole point is then there's times, so you need this right shoulder. We don't want to see this continue into something like this. Come on, Bitcoin. The battle at 70K has been ridiculous, right? Overall, this feels, I got to kind of lean more bearish yet again. Specifically after the great move earlier today didn't play out nicely. It's funny, I say that and it dumped in a second. It's crazy. Like I lean back. Oh, I lean back. Oh. I love this track. It's my favorite one. Shout out to all the beautiful people here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. If you're just becoming a lifer, thank you. If you've been a lifer for a long time, thank you. God bless everybody here on the live. How many likes we get? Let's get the viewer activity up and pumping here. Okay. Let's get up to 500 likes. We got 283. We get to 500. I'm gonna hook y'all up. We'll do a little YouTube giveaway. Hook you up. All right. $100 to somebody out there, and we'll do it. We'll do some cool thing. Once we get to the 500 likes, we'll do something cool. We got 290 right now, so we'll get to 500 likes. I'm hooking one of you up with $100. So if you want to help someone get 100, hit the like. If you want to be one person that can hit the like. I usually do not. I trade altcoins all the time when the market gives me a good probability. I do trade altcoins. But I've been just steering clear of them until Bitcoin can give us a better direction recently. So here we are this morning, the dump back to the 21-day moving average on the 4-hour time frame, which is something that you got to expect. All right. A resistance now created at 71,350. And some strong support that we're interacting with here at 69,005. A trend line kind of building here as you touched it there, and there, you see? And then a trend line here as you touched it here and here. So I'm respecting those. I don't make the rules. I'm just respecting trend. A pattern is just two trend lines meeting in the middle. One day it hit me. I was like, oh my gosh. All right. If I win, will you trade that 100 into 10K, Sammy boy? I love it, bro. I know you can. Shout out to John James Power. We love you, brother. Hyperliquid's been better than most. I'll give you that. It's a nice little right shoulder move there. Could get it popping for Bitcoin. I could see it close the gap to the 200 moving average. We'll see. Better than nothing right now. We're getting toy. Toy like a toy go over here. And there you go. A move is coming on that 1 minute time frame. We're going to get tighter and tighter in this. I mean, it doesn't get much tighter than that. You can get tight on the 1 minute. You can get tight on the 1 hour. You can get tight on the 4, but that's 1 minute tightness. My goodness. A move is coming. I do like that you're underneath, you got the curving 21. Usually you'll get a pump if the 21 is curving like that. This is the game I used to play all the time. Remember, I used to get in here, but I've learned too many times it broke down, broke up. Once I started playing the 200, I got better odds, so I started playing the 200. I kind of gave up this area just because I found better odds. Man, maybe I'll come back to this. Some days I see some really good moves in this area, though. I'm like, damn, I kind of want to get back to where I used to trade. If anyone remembers, like 2 years ago, for like a year and a half straight, every day on the live stream, you saw me trying to catch this divergence with the move. Really, And there's the cup and handle with the 786 retracement, that whole thing. And technically, it is doing the do. And you pull the fib there. But I don't know why it's on the left side, but see, it knifes to the 618 actually. But that's, I look for a 618, 786 area. Cannot hit one of the two depending. 100x long feels safe from here. You're funny. I'm a 76 SMA guy. Interesting. You like that oil, that 76, that Lucas oil 76. Yeah, I know what you're up to. Yeah. I see what you're saying. You're giving like some type. Yeah. That's like a code. You're speaking in code now. I know what's up. Yeah. I'm an 86, 5, 7, 8, I mean, you're going to see a move here in a second. Let's go BTC. To get tighter inside the zone. We really haven't broke that trend on a larger time frame, so we might pump soon. This might sound whatever, but always follow. I don't know what just a fat Dumont. You're funny. The dump is real. Hope the leg's healing up. Good, bro, man. I'm back to myself again mentally. Because my foot doesn't hurt every single time I move. You know what I mean? It's sore for sure. It's not the same for sure, but it's nowhere near it was when I hurt it. And nowhere near it was when I had my surgery. You know what I mean? A couple more days and I'll be able to go to the doctor for my 6 weeks, man, since surgery, man. And I thought I did pretty good, man. I thought I did it with grace, right? I thought I did it with grace, man. I thought for someone that got hurt the way I did, I stayed positive as ever, man. And God proved me, man, that I can. I didn't bitch and moan a lot. I didn't say, why me? I didn't cry and say, oh my gosh, I went to do it a few times, and then my mom and dad would come in my mind and say, what is that going to do for you? I said, it is what it is now. Just handle it, man. I said, it is what it is. And I picture myself like an old Viking warrior. I said, what, you going to cry about it? You know what I mean? I'm in the tent, in the tribe somewhere. I'm getting nursed back to life by the ancient doctor. I'm having life elixirs, and they're like somehow massaging my leg. I don't know, whatever. If it could ever even, they're using tree roots. And I said, man, nobody to whine to, man. I got no mama to cry to, baby. You know what I mean? It's me versus the world, bro. So yeah, I just flipped it into a positive. I said, you know what? I understand how a handicapped person feels. And honestly, when I went around, people would open doors for me. A real strange experience, right? Women would open doors for me. Like, I've never seen a woman open the door for me. I mean, sometimes people would hold the door or see you coming. Like a lady would be coming out with her kids or something, and she'd be like, oh, I'm so sorry. And she'd hold the door for me. Like, and I'd always feel real bit odd by it. I'd be like, oh, I applied for a handicap parking pass because it's hard for me to get around. We applied for it like 4 weeks ago. I still don't have it. It's kind of crazy. I've gone many places and I can't park close. I got to be like, or my wife drops me off. It's crazy. I'm like an old man, I'm going through things that an old man would go through. My wife has to help me, when I get in the car, she takes my crutches and then has to come get them for me. It's weird, man. When you're an alpha, I consider myself an alpha male, a do-it-yourself kind of guy, an independent thought thinker and creator, and I got to have people taking care of me on a daily basis. It's weird, man. So that's been different, right? So looking for this move up to the upside here for Bitcoin if we can get it. All right. For sure, Sammy, especially consider you were thanking God for the use of your legs the day before your injury. I really was, man. I try to do it every morning. I think I forget some days. But about 80% of the time when I wake up, I have to go to the bathroom and I say, dear Lord, thank you for my use of my legs. May I walk to the bathroom? Wow, look, we're getting so tight. Look how tight you get. And not only do you see the bigger picture, but you see the tighter picture too. Like, it's just like, it looks bearish, then bullish, then bullish, then bearish. I gotta say, these mainly dump on you. It's in what's called a symmetrical triangle. They're mainly bearish. You kind of already lost the trend in my opinion there. But we'll see. You're on the 1 minute. You have a little more leeway with the one to play with it, but I feel like you're kind of outside the box at this point. You got the Nerf nose. It would have to end up being like a bigger pattern now. Bounce off the 21 and get like an elongate here. Otherwise, you can see how it's in Adam and Eve.
You see it? Bit of an Adam and Eve double top possible. Interesting. So I'm going to look for this bounce to get tighter in there. And right now, people are longing and shorting, shorting and longing. Then they're in for huge money. Then they're down. Then they're up. They're in for 100x. They're all over the place. They have no idea what they're doing. They're freaking out. You got to just stay cool, maintain, and have a plan. My plan is to get above this 200 and make a long later. I might even long this, even though I haven't done it in a long time. I'll set up the long. I don't think I'm going to take it, but I'll set it up in case. I like how the 21's kind of defending price here. You want to, as long as you can stay above the 21, we have hope for the bulls. It does look like you're rolling over soon, though. And again, bigger picture style, could you just make a shoulder, a head, and maybe a right shoulder and still get out of this? At least we've stopped the pain. Like, we were dumping. People come to this channel too because they're watching the 1 minute, the 1 hour, and they're just seeing a red candle. They come to this channel, and next thing you know, they see a guy like breaking down the 1 minute and looking for the daily bottom. And at least there's some calmness to the moment, right? They're like, oh my gosh, I was chasing red and green candles. I was freaking out. Now I'm like, okay, this is what a trader does. A trader sits and analyzes price action, projects ideas. I mean, that looks like, it does look like a rollover. I got to zoom out the bigger picture here. 1 hour got a double top for the 200 moving average. Usually that's not a great sign. Just not. You know, you have some resistance that could become support here. So you M pattern to the downside. Off, bad news on the war. And you're kind of far from the 21 there on the 1 hour too. You can see how we keep using the 15 and the 30-minute 200 moving averages, these barriers. These barriers for the bulls to hold us. I mean, you were pretty bearish for multiple candles. You're seeing, hey, can you get this bounce? Intraday trading, I've used the 15-minute a few times to make some money, Something just like this. The risk-to-reward ratio, I can barely get a 3-to-1 in the box, right? So, here we had a bigger movement, right? The chances of winning from this level to the, I'm just, showing you how the risk plays out. Look at that. They whipped it and dipped it, flipped it and ripped it. I like to do is delete everything too and look at it clean again. You got to be able to see it both ways if you want to trade the smaller time frames. And you got to be able to pivot at a moment's notice, take profit, maybe move a stop loss. Smart traders, paying themselves inside the trade, and then they don't really care what else happens after it, right? Take a realized gain and move on. We call it, selling partials, taking a partial. You don't have to always take the whole trade, right? This does look more bullish than bearish at the present moment. It could change. We're looking at heavy volatility and geopolitical unrest. I mean, this is going to be some of the most toughest trading you'll see in your life, really. If you can trade this right now and not lose all your money and utilize what's happening on the war to your advantage, then you're going to set yourself up for years and years and years of good practice. This is mental trading right now, everyone. We're in a mental game. I'm going to tell you right now, 90% of the people present, now maybe hopefully not on the live, their life hasn't been around, but people that just think they're going to jump on in and start to trade, and that includes beginners that don't have a lot, that just join a trading group and think they're going to learn in a month or two, or they get fed a lie like it's simple and they hear words like easy and, I mean, simple is true, but easy. I don't like anyone that use the word easy. My dad always told me, just look out for someone that uses the word easy. Just be careful now, my dad told me this, and I'm not trying to hate on anyone that uses the word easy. Because someone probably that I know that I love might have used it yesterday, and they're like, damn, man, Sam's talking about me, right? I don't know who I'm not talking about anybody. My dad said to me, be careful, nothing's easy. And someone must have told my dad that. And someone must have told my dad that. So that's like an old thing, man. I come from old school, old men. My dad was 36 when he had me. He was 50 when I was 14, right? 60 when I was 24. So at 24 years old, a 60-year-old man, and he's taking me out to the bars. We're talking, and he's showing me, and he's teaching me about life, man. And I traveled with my dad to Costa Rica. We had a good time. We really got to know each other. My dad was my buddy, man. My dad was my friend. My dad always told it to me straight. My dad was hard on me. And he was a tough man in and of himself. His own personality was tough. He had his own, like everybody, he had his own demons he was fighting. But, the best three things that my dad taught me. Go your own way no matter what. Never be a follower. Okay? That's the number one thing he taught me. Never be a follower. Go your own way. If you see 100 people going one way, go the other way. You know what I mean? Like, never just do what someone else is doing. Like, find your own way. Be independent. My dad was very independent. My dad wasn't even like, my dad would watch the playoffs and he would root for Boston teams because he liked, but for the most part, he really wasn't a fanboy. He had no fan memorabilia. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't have a bunch of posters of the Patriots. He didn't have a man cave. He just wasn't that type of guy. He went out to the bar to hang out. He had a Harley Davidson and he went on what it called a run with the boys, and he put my mom on the back. And he'd be like, if he was ever in an area with a bunch of guys, he'd be like, there's no chicks there. He was an old school guy, right? He'd be like, even though he had my wife, my mom, he would always be with my mom, and he'd be like, these guys hang out, a bunch of guys. He's like, what's that all about? It's so funny, man. How many times has Trump used the word easy over the last couple of weeks? Every time he said it, I thought of you, right? It's going to be so easy. It's easy. Sure it is. So yeah, to me, it's a trigger word, man. Because someone that knows hard work and knows the efforts they put in life, they know in their heart nothing's really easy. I get it. We all slip up when we use lineage. We use verbiage. Like, I don't want to, be so critical of someone. If they might just one day say, oh, it's easy to get over there. You take the bus from this way to that way. You're like, oh my God, he said it, And look at the guy like, it's not easy. Nothing's easy. I got to take the bus and the train, But, I do watch language when I'm around people, and I listen to what they say. And people are telling you who they are in the first 10 to 20 minutes of hanging out with them. You're going to understand if they believe in themselves. If they believe in themselves, then there's a good chance they might believe in you. You can see if they're doubting themselves, and if they're doubting themselves, it's very weird how once you get in control of language, and somewhat at least, the best you can, in your subconscious, how you can see how someone else's subconscious mind has been hijacked, possibly, and kind of where it's taken them. That does look like the move now. Bang, right? It's crazy. Look at this price action. This is now, and this is what we do here. We dissect the 1 minute time frame. It's not easy. It's not always fun. But we give it to you exactly out as it's happening here on the live. And we've already gone over the monthly. It's not like we're playing games here. The 15-minute is weak. Crypto Billy. We want to get this move to the upside. Crypto RC Moore, God bless you, man. I turned 900 into 7,000 with your basics. All 300 longs on Soul. DGen. That's crazy, man. God bless you. I'm proud of you, brother. So maybe, I don't up the ante. I'm not as risky as most people are with my strategies. Other people are riskier than me. This looks like cat ears to me that wants to roll over, folks. Head back down to this big old glob at 65.5. Take out these fat longs right here. And that's exactly, it's funny. They coincide. These areas are locked in. That big red in my circle there is 65 and 65,500, right? So, someone introduced the DSJXJ, and they, damn, you're funny. $300X is very D-John. Hey, some people do whatever they can, Like, look, let's just see if how high you could take it. Right? We'll see. Like, So let's just say you bring this to 300. All right. I'm just going to show you what it could be like, right? All right, so you're at 300. And you're like never traded before, and you just think flags break out. Like, let's just say you learn something I teach you, but like you don't know all the stuff. Like, you take a little bit of it. And you're like, okay, the flag will break out. And you're like, Sammy says we'll go up to the 200, right? So you're like, I'm going to trade this. And you're like, I'm going to go up to the 200 at 70,430. All right. And you say, I'm going to put my stop loss, if you can even, you probably can't. You're not going to be able to. But let's just say you hope to put a stop at 69776. And you drag this over, right? And you're like, and I'm going to go $4,000 for 12 grand. I'm going to make $12,000 today. It changed my life, right? Like, this is like, or you go back a little bit to keep some fees. Hit open long, and you see your liquidation price is going to be 69.8. And so if Bitcoin goes down $100, you're going to lose $6,000. All right. Now, if you can handle that, go for it, right? Let's just say I hit okay instead of cancel. Like, you hit okay, bang, right? At 9, let's say 36. Now, let's just see if I'm going to lose $6,000 or not. Like, it's just crazy, right? Right now, I'd be in the money. I'd be still flat right now, right? And I'd pay a pretty good fee because the leverage would be high. So I'd probably already be down $100 or $200. Because when you take that much leverage, you pay a big fee. That's why people pay such big fees. They trade at high leverage. When you're taking money from the man's going to make you pay more for it, man. So at this point, you'd be about to lose $6,000. You'd be down like $3,000. Oh, now you'd be back up. You'd be down like $1,000 or $2,000. Like, we could demo trade it, right? Actually, I don't like the demo trade because someone could come in and think it's a real trade. You know what I mean? But you can clearly see it says a demo trade, right? It's funny. Everyone says I always hit my demos. You know what I mean? Like, I'll go hard on demo and it hits every time. Like, you know. So you would use that wick right there. That wick is the stop, right? So again, wow, it's very similar. 69,726. And you'd be, all right, we're going to break out. Wow, I guess you'd be in the money now if we'd taken that trade. We'd be in the money huge right now. We would have made like $2,000 already. It's so crazy. Now it's bouncing back again. But back to 70K. Take profit at 70, let's say 70,420, you know, just for fun. That trade be ripping now, right? And you went to and again, if you're going to trade 300x leverage, so they only let you do 200 here. But if you're going to trade 300x leverage, you know, and you just go like, I'm going to go open this long, right? In ways you would never, you know, you shouldn't trade it ways you wouldn't trade on demo, but. So you got to lose a little less I think for fees, right? Oh my God, man, that trade would have ripped, right? So that's crazy, man. Like, there's a chance I would have made $12,000 on stream, right? If I had gone for the trade, right? So, you know, I mean, right there, I proved that 300x could pay you heavily. It would have been a crazy ride, but for the most part, it played out pretty much from entry. At that point, you're moving your stop loss to break even or going to take profits, right? You can see kind of inverted head and shoulder now for Bitcoin. Some people could have taken advantage of that move to the upside, right? It was looking like a nice flag. It got so tight with the 21 curving up, and it started to resemble the right shoulder, right? And then you should clean up to the 200, right? If I was in this trade, I'd be out right now because that would have been 3,000 probably, right? Like, you did make the trade. Oh my God, no. You have to remember, it went the other way. You're down 6,000, and that would be of a $33,000 account. I'd lose a fifth of the account overnight. It's highway robbery, right? So, he said, "Where do you trade 300x?" I mean, you could trade up to 500, I believe. 400 is the limit here. You know what I mean? You can trade 400 on the 1 second. Yeah. Here they got the 1 minute. But some other people have like even smaller. Like I believe we have the 1 second on Maxi. I know I've traded the 1 second before. Oh, that's oil, yeah. Not on oil, on Bitcoin though. They give you the 1 second on BTC. Look at it, it's a head and shoulder. See it? Crazy, this thing is ripping. Nice little pump there back from 69.8. And see how we just slowly dialed it in. I didn't get in. I was thinking of it. Kind of toying with price. I thought we'd have maybe a few more minutes of sideways price action. But you can see when you get tight and the 21's inside a price, I mean, something is going to happen. You're going to get a move. All right. One contract, NQ futures of the 1 minute candle. Yeah. And you could trade the NQ2 as well, which is cool on BTCC. Right. So like I have an exchange for basically every asset. In case I want to trade anything, I have hands on it. I can get to it. You want to trade the NASDAQ, we trade Tech 100 here. All right. I'll show you on BTCC. NASDAQ actually in a bit of an uptrend here. Out of what's called an ascending triangle. You can see it broke this range high of the previous range. It had the low and the high. It broke the range. Coming back up to probably 24,425, right? And whenever I set this up, I want to flip this to white. Flip my inputs to 21. And then just flip this to yellow. Flip my inputs to 200, right? Slap on a stochastics. Just type in RSI. And then I'm pretty good to go. Like that, and you can see there's the model right there. We were on the 21 inside the flag above the 200. Told you to enter the NASDAQ right there. Had I looked at that, man, I was about 10 minutes shy of trading that, right? So, but that's what Sammy will do. Like, I'll trade that all day long. I'll sit on the 1 minute. I'll wait for consolidation. I'll watch this. So I want to see Bitcoin do this. Like, Bitcoin's down here right now, fighting to get back to the 200. You see? I mean, there's your NASDAQ trade right there. I'd be late on it, but that's a call I would make 100 times out of 100, right? I mean, just, you see me do this daily. So can we get the same kind of idea here on Bitcoin, right? Looks like we got to consolidate again now in another bit of a flag before we can get a pump. A nice pump to the upside out of consolidation. And the shoulder, head, right shoulder suggests we could go higher, right? Now it says, so all day now we could continue on a move further back. We don't know for sure. The small, we're still, remember, we're still always, coming back to the idea that, oh, look at that. The 15-minute bounce did occur too. If you tweezer bottom, the bounce off the 200 moving average. I'm not in love with the range. Something tells me just to be easy for a while for whatever reason, which is rare for me. But there you have it, Made some crazy call. Like last night's call, the night before's call was crazy. And last night's call even got us in the money when I woke up. So look at the 200 moving average putting in work on that 15-minute. And I was even thinking of jumping on in there. Good volume that came in to fall, Yeah, so far so good. And you can see how you now you got above this resistance. Now you got yourself in a little flag that wants to do damage again. Why am I not trading this? My model is so good. I'm waiting for it. I know I'm picky. I'm really picky. I feel bad, man. I don't know why I feel bad. I shouldn't feel bad for people that mess up, but I just feel bad when I see people that had the world by, they had everything they were going for. YouTube channel, cars, houses, everything, and they ruin it by being stupid, man, And some people might know who I'm talking about. A known YouTuber now is looks like he's going to go back to the can, man. And he was an ex-convict, too. It's just really sad to see. And I like to see people change their lives and stay out of scenarios like that. And now, like, he's going to come back, and it's just... And it's not who you think it is. It's someone not in the crypto space, someone who's outside of crypto. It's like a health, like kind of like a bodybuilder influencer kind of dude, you know, out of Miami. Really sad. Really sad. Yeah, see, like, that's in a pump like that is how you know, and again, like I showed you, like, yeah, at high X leverage, someone could have made $3,000-$4,000 right there in 2 minutes. It's possible, right? But it's very high risk. If someone's doing that, they've perfected a skill they've worked at for a long time, and they must be used to taking an L here and there. Like a couple times a month, they got to lose at least 4,000 to 5,000 if they're going to do that all the time. And if they're good at it, they have to do it all the time, because if you don't do it all the time, you're not going to be good at it. So to me, it's like, and that's just kind of more than I'd like to lose, personally. I never want to get behind myself and feel like I'm chasing. You know what I mean? I want to always be ahead of myself and continue to move. If that makes any sense. So, yeah. Let's see here. So now you're looking for a bounce. Previous resistance becomes support. You know, it's all about support or resistance every time. Let's go and see what's happening around the horn here for BTC. All right. And one other thing I want to do here. Hold on. Yo, Scotty over there. How's the coffee brewing? What you doing? Look at this guy over here in the corner. All he does is drink the coffee here. He doesn't do anything. Hey, you know, there's nobody drinking coffee. Right? Funny, you know, funny. You know, how do you guys feel the oil prediction markets? I feel a little uneasy. Layer 0 up 11% on the day. World Liberty Finance holding 10 cents. BitTensor, the bigger player, back to 309. And we talked about getting in a month ago. That's one of the only plays that I really was hyped about. And then Hyperliquid holding. Kite still at 23, which looks like it could be a play because it's been holding above 20 now for like a week or two after a major pump. It's got to tell you that it's actually got something behind it that can hold it where it's at. Quant was interesting too, still holding about 2% today and 6.7% on the week. But not a lot. There wasn't a lot going on. Chainlink still holding $9. I like Chainlink. I believe it's still a buy. I think it's still connected to the bigger picture of the future financial system. Solana too, in my humble opinion, isn't going anywhere. Just might kind of rebalance the price, but the tech is still there and its position is still there. And then River at 24, really up 7% of the week. These were kind of, and Siren had an amazing run too. I stayed away from it. It was very upsy-daisy. It's down 57% in 24 hours. So we see in the last week, one of the big winners, 36%. Siren was a big winner, but to me, it was like, Daxi, I put out a 370 holding $7. That's been one of my only real big calls in altcoins. And honestly, no one's put it on an altcoin call. So you got to give me some credit here for putting out an altcoin call here, like a regular old spot, buy this, hold it for a month, and actually double your money type of altcoin call. It happened on Dexy. We put it out to the trading group. We nailed it. Bitcoin collapsing to the downside in the last few minutes. Bear City. So is it time to open up a bigger, a bear target here? Watch this thing kind of ape down. To me, I would see something like this, right? And you can see how it's shoulder, head, right shoulder. To me, I've never been so, uneasy with price action, Because I know headlines could affect, TA still works. I mean, you double topped off the 200. I was able to get out of the long this morning because we started disobeying the trend line, right? That was looking nice, like we were going to get a bounce. When that fell a little bit, I was out. I was like, I'm not playing that. And it could have bounced and got inside, and if it did, I would have got back in right there. Sometimes it's done that and ripped out of nowhere, and I've missed the trade, but it's rare. It happens less, you know. And now you got to see the 15-minute will lose that 200. You want to see if you can hold the zone here. That's why I didn't take the long. Let's take a look-see here on, you know. You got chop here. Tell you what, we're about to get extra tight here. And Bitcoin's about to figure out what it's going to do in the next 8 to 10 hours. And we're going to either get a massive blowout or we're going to get a dump easy here. It's looking, you know, and again, because I can see, look, two things are going to happen. You're going to make a right shoulder and get out of here, or you're going to complete this kind of complex head and shoulder that I'm seeing, and you're going to dump on us. A bunch of people are already in the short from up here. They may have taken profits, and now they're riding to see if they get more. Good for them. That was a dang good entry at that top, you know. And again, you just could have waited for the red candle to close. I speculated on a long instead last night, and still woke up the morning and gained, right? So to me, I mean, this is what I'm looking at, and we've had a bearish morning so far. We're attempting to fight off the bears. It hasn't happened. Let's get back to the smaller time frames. The 15-minute is just saying, hey, man, I'm going to fight you at this 200 moving average. You're not going to get me. I got support or resistance. We've bounced. I'm going to hold my own. But honestly, you got to start thinking this is a bear flag that could take you lower as well. Legendary long. The old me longs, you've seen me long this a lot, right? Be crazy to long that and hit too. Like, you can almost get a 3-to-1 if you make it small and you just put the shorter below the wick, but it's some pretty crazy price action if you ask me. What are y'all thinking? Let's see what happened to the poll here. So 61% said this goes all year long, and some people say it never ends, man. Yeah, exactly. If there's a buffering ring, just refresh your page. It happens sometimes. I have no idea why. It could be internal. It could be external. You know what I mean? It could be the internet in Florida. Just hit refresh and your page refreshes and you should be good to go. It's playing live for me at the top. I'm watching my live stream live right now. You see? I'll put a peace sign up. And you watch me put a peace sign up. It's kidding. Then this is something really weird I want to show you. I'll put a peace sign up. Oh, look, you're right. It is spinning there inside, though. But see, I'll put a peace sign up. And then this will go into infinity. Me putting a peace sign up. And then I'll put a peace sign up there. And then I'm going to put a peace sign up in there. And then I'm going to put a peace sign up in there. Then I'm going to put a peace sign. And honestly, that's never going to stop. And that kind of scares me because it makes me realize, like, once you set something into time and space like this, see, it's regurgitated time and space, it'll never end. I will continue to make a peace sign into a microscopic level to the point where the computer can't even differentiate the pixels, but it will have to read it. When does it end? When did the pixels collapse on themselves to the point of where they can't create more pixels? When does the computer say no? And that's the most fascinating thing. I know it's off topic here, but isn't that's mind-blowing? It really bugs me out sometimes. So, wow, look at this epic possible move here. I'm going to take it. I like these moves here off the 200 moving average, right? Let's go for it. 71,211. I think the bigger trade is later on today anyway. I don't think this is the biggest trade ever. Damn, I already missed a bit of a bounce there. I got to make it like a 2-to-1, which really isn't my thing. But if I've only taken 2-to-1s like twice in my life, like what's the big deal? You know, if I do it every day, fine. But if I've only done it like once or twice, I don't think it's that big a deal. 400 for 900. Go for the double A. Or is it high risk here? I was about to go. I had it. I had the feeling. I mean, they've tried to break that 200 now for 2 hours. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 candles. It's kind of a statement for the bulls, no? That something is not right. You know, they ain't going to get it. Like, they tried. They had their chance. They wicked it down. They wicked it twice. Maybe I go smaller. Oh, remember, I'm at big time leverage. I forgot. What would my liquidation level be? 69,949. And I'd lose $60. So look, I get it. If you have no money, I guess you go higher leverage. So I just realized, I never realized. So I could make, you know, almost, you know, I get it. You lose $60. Oh, but my liquidation is so close to price action, see? I'm just showing you what happens if you trade 300. Well, that's why I don't trade 300. I trade like 30, 20, somewhere between 10 and 34, usually on an average basis. My thing is go to work, save your money, get your money up, trade with less leverage. You know, instead of someone going like, I don't want to go to work and all I got is $50 and then trying to go 100x leverage with $50. Like, you should get your butt to work like I did. I worked a night shift for years. You should get yourself into the discipline of working. You should stack your money, save your money. And then, you know, in my humble opinion, I use 50 at 10 instead. I just think the leverage is lower, the money is higher. And people say, well, I don't have the money. Man, everyone has a hustle and everyone has the ability to pray and build themselves into something bigger. So build yourself into something bigger, make it happen, keep pushing, don't stop, and then save your money. And then, you know what I mean? I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I'm saying you should be taking as financial advice. But I'll tell you what my dad told me, man, is, you know, it's not about the money earned. It's about the money saved, man. Anyone can make money, but it's how you save. Do you save any of it? You know, save it and, you know, put it to, you know, I saved my money. And then when Tesla was low or when gold was low, I had an opportunity. When Bitcoin was low, there was an opportunity for me. If I didn't save my money and have any money aside, I wasn't going to make any money. No one talks about this. They talk about the great traders in the world and the great investors. Let's talk about, I mean, for the investor to start investing, there was some money somewhere. And he didn't start, everyone starts investing. Somebody says, oh no, he started with $1 and he took the buck all. It's very rare. Usually someone at least started with something. And even if it is $1,000, at least it's something. And usually they did dishwashing or something, right? I mean, so to me, work ethic is key. Once you have work ethic, hey, what if you do blow up an account and something happens? You can always go back to work. You can make the money and then you get back into trading again. Like, but if you got no work ethic and you're just a lazy person that thinks you're going to get the easy way out of trading, so in my humble opinion, it's great to have work ethic. Some people get down on themselves for working a 9 to 5, and I worked a 9 to 5, or, you know, I worked from 10 to 6, all right, during the day, and I worked a night shift to get out of the 10 to 6, but eventually I got back to the 10 to 6. Like, the night shift didn't get me. I didn't win. It didn't pan out, all right? This is crazy price action. I do like the bounce off the 200, but I can still see it going many ways. To me, this is what we're watching here. You know, you lose the 200 again, the 21 curves, I believe that would be a short again back down to this area. You bounce, you get tight, it still could go either way, you know. A big move is coming for Bitcoin, and it's coming in the next, I'd say, 8 hours. At the most. And that means we're getting some news about the war in the next 24 hours. You can see it says 1 day. So, yeah. Here we go, folks. Can we make the high or low? Does the 4-hour close a green candle next to a red? Do we get tight? And do we start to get a possible bounce? Or do we close a red candle, lose the 21, and start to make a massive dump further to the downside? That's the key. Bitcoin's been at about 70,000 throughout the show, pretty much sideways. We had a little bit of a nice pump there on the 1 minute out the small flag that we drew. If you remember right here, we gave it all back a minute later, got it all back a second more. Continued to stay super tight on the smaller time frame. Open up an over leverage long for fun just to kind of show you the consequences of trading at 300x. You can see, though, it's still pretty calm and collective if you do it correctly, right? Look how this looks just like the 4-hour now, same scenario here. I'm all about getting back above the 200. We get back above the 200, boom. What we did do is we could have found the daily bottom there, 69,005. There's a chance we did. And then, so. Contract expires. Anybody thinking they could survive long term with 300x is delusional. I'm made to where I'm always living below my means so I could invest. Start young. Amen. My 9-year-old granddaughter made $50 off of SpongeBob characters, so she made out of tape and tissue paper this weekend. She sold 5 of them. How does she do? That's crazy. That sounds amazing. That's nuts. That's so cool, bro. Yeah. Bro, this is your liquidation, not demo. I know that. Yeah, I know that. It doesn't matter. It's such a small amount. It's very simple. Like, that's why I'm just proving you don't. Wow, look how I didn't get liquidated. How is that even possible? I got liquidation shield. Yeah, I'm using $60, folks. It's $66 in margin. We're going to make it. It's not $6,000. Imagine if we make $600 off the $60, though. That's the key. This is what I'm just trying to see if we can use the smallest amount to make a more amount. That's this experiment here. Normally, I'm using way more. Oh, that's it. I'm getting hit. Like, that's coming for me. And you can't move that liquidation. You can't. There's nothing you can do. You can move the stop loss above it, You can go, oh, no. No. It doesn't matter. You see what I mean? Like, you're going to get hit. Oh, my gosh. This is so crazy. That's insane. Look at it. If this trade ends up winning, it will be historic. They got me, right? As I said that. Yeah. They're like, blink. Like, nope, nothing will be historic. I just haven't seen my model yet, so I'm not going to trade until I see it. I know it's boring, but that's just how I trade. I know too much about being below the 200. And I know I have seen too much up and down price action here. I do tell you, it looks kind of head and shouldery. Just in, stablecoin issue is Circle, stock crashes 18%. All right. Exactly. Looks like that thing wants to come down somewhere, I don't know, 69,474. Right? I tell you what, man, this is like any man's game. You want to trade this with the high X leverage and watch your heart raise, go for it. I'm all set. I like to get in when it's like likely going to go my way and make me look good, right? Not when it's a 50-50 ball and going all over the place. Look at the price action there. Looks like a heart meter, after, Shout out to everybody here. My price action has never slowed down. I disagree with that, man. It's never happened to me. I've done it live, so yeah. Can we get another one like this one back to the upside? The 21's looking okay. I'm not in this trade. I just like to see the trades. I get myself ready for my trade. I may make one of the biggest trades of my life today. See, you never know when you're going to trade. You just got to stick with it every single day. That's the key. Estee Lauder, possible bottom reversal today. Interesting. EL. I've always liked Estee Lauder. Her story's amazing. You know, a billionaire lady that made it happen from the ground up, right? Yeah, possible double bottom. I see what you're saying on the 1 minute even, too. Wow, that thing got hammered, huh? Yeah, it's very far away from multiple indicators. Wow, it made a shoulder, head, right shoulder. It left the 200 moving average on the 3-day. I found this song cool, but I also found it a bit annoying. You know. I don't know. I wouldn't just jump into something just because it's beat up so bad. It could go lower. Like, that could be a bear flag, man. Maybe they're selling off. There's inside. I don't know what's going on, but like maybe that goes lower. 13. I don't see why it's going to stop. Like something's got to tell me why it's going to not. It's going to stop, right? I don't see that just yet. So symmetrical triangle either way, but you got a bit of a higher low and you're a little tight. I'm leaning a little more long. You got to get above this 200 moving average for me to believe. Oh, let's take a look at my 30-second. There you go, man. The 30-second doing the do. Above the 200, inside the zone. Breaking out. With the 200, with the 21. Fly, baby, fly. Go, baby, go. And then set me up on my 1 minute chart, please. Meme coin piece pump 2x on Trump's de-escalation tweet. This is it for me, lads. Had a good day. One love. Love you, man. God bless you, brother. 15-minute chart is looking solid. Yeah, it is. It's holding it. It's holding the zone now. So how I trade this, I'll show you how I really trade this now. I go back down to like 34. My little world, my nice little world. Maybe 33 because I'm a 33 guy. Okay. Oh, man, that thing's ripping now. Now, it's rare for me to do this below the 200 on the 1 minute. But, I mean, they had 2 hours to pass the 15-minute 200 moving average. Say we get to 71,688. We probably will not, but say, you know, in a world where Sam traded Bitcoin. 4,000 for 14. Let's go all in with the skin. No. I love 3 for $1,000. So I'm going to snipe that and see what happens since we battled the 200 moving average so well. You know? And then we know what has to happen now on the smaller time frames. They got to work. They got to put in that work. This has to continue its breakout. And it's high risk either way. You know, it just... it really is. Usually I would wait for us to cross this 200. So that's the only sketchy thing that I don't like that I did. So we'll see. We kind of had a candle ripping too, but And that's a what, $52,000 trade at $1,600 in at 33x left, right? So like, 151. And I know the risk and I can see it's not amazing. Again, remember me, when I'm not in a $100,000 trade, I don't love I'm not like, it's like a 6 trading day, not a 10 or a 9, So I up the ante when the trading day looks great. Still doesn't mean I couldn't make some money today, but the odds aren't like amazing, right? So, and your trading style might give you better odds today. It might, we may differ in what could happen, right? So we'll see. It's $40. It's nothing to like, anything could happen there. Let's take a look at the DXY and see what's happening to the dollar. And remember, watch my top-down analysis on the DXY every single Friday on that macro. Cool thing about this week, too, is we didn't have a lot of news and data-driven news coming our way at 8:30 in the morning anymore. Only one time, I believe, unemployment claim on Thursday, right? And I could be incorrect. Let's take a look. But I didn't see a lot coming our way, right? Unemployment claims Thursday at 8:30 is the only red folder we saw. Oh, we had some flash manufacturing tomorrow. No, Tuesday. We had some flash today. 52.4, pretty much another, a little less. We got some Australian CPI, and you watch out that's definitely going to affect your Forex. I mean, look at that. You're touching the 21. You're above the 200. You're in a bit of a flag. The dollar looks like it could make a move. I mean, that could be like, the dollar goes up in price. The dollar jumps and then, I don't know. I like when the dollar goes down and Bitcoin goes up, but they've pumped together, but usually not necessarily, right? So look at that. Now the first red candle, 1, 2, 3, 4 in an hour. But you need red before you get green, but it was a beautiful green candle. It had just 4 minutes to close. 1 minute looks garbaggio. And again, it's like, just wait for my target, wait for my my signal, man. Could have longed that possible 786, right? If you do a wick from here to here. 618 bounce right there, actually. I mean, it's a possible little wick, little scalp right there that works. I just haven't been feeling the live trading recently during the 10 to 12 area. We've had too much geopolitical unrest. Like my perfect pocket of time is showing, it's been, look at this. Like, this is what happened in 2 hours. This is what's gone on since we started the show. This is on the 1 minute time frame. No huge dump, no huge pump, nothing just amazing, just kind of chop. Nothing that gets me really excited, I'll be honest, right? Sometimes that's cool. You got to show people what chop is, right? This is what the show is about. This is what a trading show is about. You don't know what you're going to see. You don't know what you're going to teach. You don't know what you're going to encounter every single day that you open the show. You hope it's going to be hot and amazing, but sometimes it's kind of just like you're, waiting for paint. Still doesn't mean there's not something to learn, something to figure out, something to push for. There's always something to do, right? But, look at that. Dang, man. That looks like it broke down. And I'll tell you, I kick myself every time I trade below the 200, unless I'm shorting. You know what I mean? Flip it upside down. Technically, let's see. I didn't even think about it. Like, if you continue doing this, I mean, right? That it couldn't end up being a short squeeze, a long squeeze to the downside there. Does look head and shouldery, but I just got it upside down, folks, just to see if I could see it differently. That was a beautiful fake out. Just got to tip the cap and keep it moving. The trade win more often than not. In my opinion, this geographical nonsense has made these markets uncontrollable. I mean, I was playing with way too high X11 at that point, you know. This trade's still on. We'll see what happens. I'm still below the 200 moving average. It's not over yet, right? It's not amazing, though. It's been tough, and that's why I wouldn't add like heavy leverage or an altcoin to this stuff, because it just would make it even harder. Easier to lose more money, you know. 15-minute lose the 200, the trade's a wrap. You know, that's when you know, or even kind of starts to play too hard with it. You hit it, you almost hit it, you almost hit it, you wicked it, you wicked it again hard. It made me think, dang, man, you've drilled into liquidity 2 times. A good chance that I can win a trade if I hit now. That's what my thought process kind of came from. And I use the 200 so much in my life, and I have used the specific 15-minute to do this. And it has played out before, so I went on some, you know, but I didn't go that hard, right? I knew to just... Let's do one more top-down analysis to kind of get my head over on this. I really feel like an old man that's going to go nuts some days, man. It's just like... And maybe it's just the injury and the years of doing this. I don't know what it is, but man. Or this is, I'm going to look back and realize this was just a really hard time. You know, you can't see it when you're in it. Once you get out of it as a trader, you can kind of notice what you were doing, specifically if you have emotion, you know. Like, my mind can tell when things aren't going well. I mean, look, that looks like it broke out already. See? Kind of feel like that's, you know, a tight channel right there. But fine, you can play this game. Still, like, really all eyes on this bounce. Ooh, now it looks like it's cooking. And I don't know why. Something tells me be careful for the short. Like, I want to short so bad, and then my mind's like, Oh, look at this garbaggio, though. This looks horrible now. I mean, it double topped. Now, you got to say it was a symmetrical triangle that broke down. I mean, they mainly break down when they do anyway. And then you get rid of that, and you're like, well, what is it? Like, what is it? I guess you got to say it's this. It's a bear flag. Look. It's breaking down. It's going down to 69,000. That makes the most sense to me. Yeah. Yeah, your longs aren't working. Might as well try a short. I mean, I feel you. Below the 200 on the 21. I don't know. It looks even, if when I look at it this way, it looks like an. Just looks like what it is. Geopolitical unrest with a bunch of uneasiness baked in. That does look like it's going lower, though. You got a 50-day coming. Well, my trader instinct tells me just to chill, man. Trade light and take it easy. The trades will come to me at the right time. I don't care. And people might not like it. People might not think it's the best. People might hate on it. But is the oil on the pump now? And it looks like I'm not into anything right now, man. I'm just like, I'm an observer of these markets until further notice. You know what? I might win this trade too, though, with this 15-minute 200. There's a good chance this could double bottom, rips back to the upside, and I show a fat win today in the group. You never know. I stay optimistic and open-minded about every opportunity in my life because that's how I got where I'm at today. That's what you got to do every single day. But this market is mentally hard. It's tough. Shout out to everyone that comes up, that shows up every single day. I don't even know how I do it. Some days I wonder how I keep it going under, you know. So, yeah, the best entry for the short was earlier, right here. Yeah, like right there and let it drop. I just got out of a long instead of shorting, so. And we did say we're going to hook someone up with $500 if we got to 500 likes. I don't think people heard me. But 500 likes and we get to give someone $100, you know. Just want to help somebody, hook up their day, make them happy. It would be cool if you could help me do that. Be an interesting concept, right? You give, I give, and together we feel great. I could just give anyway, but I could make you a part of it. Hit that like button and get to 500 likes. We're at 41. We just need 19 beautiful souls. Hit that like button so we can give someone something awesome. Yeah. Remember, don't use the word need. It makes you think you do need something and you need nothing. 525 likes. Those likes came fast. All right, everyone, put a... Yeah, just write lifer in the chat, man. Just write lifer in the chat. And I'm going to pick someone who writes lifer. Go, baby, go. I'm going to let it rip, and I'm just going to see kind of where it stops. Pick a random name. Chat's ripping. Let's go. Tom Mills, 7025. It's you, brother. Email us from this exact email. Take a screenshot, if you can, of like your, I don't know, you know, but Pokemon Investors, Tom Mills. All right, daddy and daughter, it's pretty cool, man. Tell your daughter that you wanted a email us. We got you, bro. Send us a tether address. All right. So Bitcoin still struggling inside of the symmetrical triangle. Not looking amazing, actually. Looking like it may have some trouble. And struggling here. Also, the 1 minute time frame not looking amazing. Just not looking amazing. So I got to tell you, man, it looks more bearish than bullish to me right now for Bitcoin. Headed back possibly to 69,000. And you can see there's a bunch of liquidity down there as well at about 69K. All right. So there's still someone hanging up there at 71,000. It's not over yet. Honestly, I got to push more bullish than more bearish than bullish because, hey, we had a chance to bounce and we did not. What is the last case scenario here? Is it somehow the 4 hour rips? But I mean, the 4 hour is making a right shoulder. That looks like it could dump all the way back down here to 67,000. Okay. So that's kind of what I see happening for BTC. Tough life. Can the 15-minute hold the 200 moving average? Only time will tell, folks. We're kind of in limbo right now. I'll give you guys an update in about a half an hour to see what happens to that trade and see where we go. I can't wait to talk to you guys in the Discord. If you want to join the Discord and find out more, go to cryptolifer.com. Another pretty sideways day. We did get a little short of the morning. I did avoid getting pounded in the long and getting stopped out heavy. There's a chance this 15-minute 200 still somehow creates some type of double bottom here. It's a very interesting day, to say the least. You know, I'd focus on the 215. Once we lose that, there's likely way more downside. Everybody, thank you so much for being here. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. You can find out when I post my next video. Remember, if you came to the channel, then you are already doing the right thing. I love you. I appreciate you. I thank you so much for having a beautiful, open mind, staying positive and keep it and push it in every single day. Shout out to the 1,000 people here on the live. I'm still in a long here with a stop below the 200 moving average. I'm down 210. We'll see what happens. You never know, man. It could be a higher low. We could get the bounce. It's crazy time right now. But hey, I'm willing to take a shot. And someone that does that every day, there's opportunity. If you do nothing, right? Scared money makes no money. So I'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you so much. The secret to success is getting started. You got to start somewhere. I urge you to demo trade for at least 2 months. Understand how to press the buttons. Understand how to get affiliate, affirmated with the money you're using. the leverage you're using. Look how I showed you the difference here between 30 and 300. And the major move that you got to be perfect at these higher leverage points. So I love you all. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the trading group. We still make one of the biggest trades ever. We might get the model later on today. Stay focused. Pay attention. I'll see you later on. CryptoLifer.com. God bless.